We are at item number 6, Tony's Administrative Officer and Director of Finance report.
Okay. Later on in the agenda, thank you. I have the report through October of 2014, and I want to give you some of the highlights of that report. At this point, I'm not projecting a surplus or a deficit for the end of the year, as we're pretty close to budget on a lot of items. Our revenues are in pretty good shape compared to budget. Our tax collection rate is on budget so far. There are no issues there. And we haven't seen any major variances in our fees that we've collected. So we're in good shape on our revenues. On our expenditures, Waste Management has a slight deficit of about $16,000 in tipping fees. That all depends on how the tonnage progresses throughout the year, and we keep a close eye on that. And if there's a surplus there, we can apply that. There is currently a surplus in bulky waste of about a little under $17,000, so the department as a whole is doing okay so far this year. Another department I want to speak about is employee benefits. We have about a $19,000 shortfall in workers' compensation, primarily because of higher than anticipated rates when we did the budget after we put out our bids. In addition, there's a deficit of about $25,000 from a heart hypertension claim that we settled earlier. So that creates a deficit in our employee benefits, but we are experiencing a surplus in our retiree health care of about $68,000. So that'll offset that deficit in that account. Some of our major highlights so far this year in our operations.
Are there any questions for Tony on that report?
Okay. Tax questions?
Yeah. So the next item is the tax refunds, and the recommendation is for a refund of property taxes in the amount of $2,806.06. Is there a motion to approve the refund?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
There are no funding requests.
No funding requests. The next item is the bid waiver. Warren, do you want to speak to the bid waiver?
Once again, Public Works is in need of a truck replacement, and I sent Tony a memo pertaining to the information regarding our request for the bid waiver to buy a similar truck that we've been purchasing in the past couple of years, or the past couple of purchases for our vehicles. I got a quotation from the dealer, the provider, back in July, but because of either the board, schedule and my schedule, I haven't been able to meet with you to talk about it. We're requesting the bid waiver because the truck is standardizing what we're using in fleet operations. Review of other vehicles has driven us to this same product line. And the quote I got was $1,500 over the last purchase. And the reason for that is basically because of the manufacturer. There's integral safety changes in the vehicle. And that's the major reason. It's a cost that the manufacturer puts on it. The actual retail cost of the truck, as it was quoted, was substantially higher. And with the discounts provided, the request was for the $90,415. The truck was listed out at over $134,000. So we're getting substantial savings off the full retail cost of the vehicle.
Are there any questions for Warren?
Well, so this is budgeted, and it's just...
Correct.
This is just allowing the bid waiver.
Correct.
Exactly.
We still have, this is only one component of the truck. We still have the plow, the cabin. This is just a cabin chassis. The body build and the plow comes as a supplement, which will go to bid.
Okay.
Maureen, do I remember you telling us that you'll still be able to have some use for what you're replacing? There'll still be, I don't remember what the use was, but
The truck that's coming out of service,
you can't use it for parts or?
No, it's
there's
just
no
that,
use for it?
no, it's going to be strictly a for sale item.
Okay.
We do have a truck though that's currently, we shift things around. The priorities, like the driver goes into a new truck, the one we just acquired. And in fact, tomorrow morning, we're having the training on that device for the distribution of product. It's a different mechanism in that truck than what we previously installed. And we're constantly reviewing and making some modifications. It's all ground speed control, so product distribution stays the same regardless of how the vehicle travels down the road. It's a product savings. Distribution of the product has been enormous as far as what we save in that end. And so those devices on the truck are a necessity, but we are making modifications in how they're installed. So the body build should actually come out about the same or less money in the end to get us where we want to be. So even though there's a $1,500 increase in the cab and chassis, I think we'll save that on the other end.
And so the truck that comes out of service is simply sold as is, basically?
There's nothing to
strip,
salvage.
nothing to-
There's not-
you can't strip it down and use
In
it.
fact, what the mechanics are doing is they're taking the tires that
Okay.
were in better
Correct.
shape off of that to put them on a vehicle that's in service
Good.
and take, we're salvaging what we
Right.
can and putting
That was my
the stuff we don't want on that truck.
Great.
We usually auction our equipment when it's.
Yeah, that was really what I was getting at,
Yes.
was when he said they would take the better tires and they kind of strip it down to
Right.
whatever we can use.
I just have a very quick question. What's the timing on this? Will you have it for?
Well, had I been able
Upcoming
to order the
season?
truck when I got the quote.
Maybe you said it already,
I probably would have had the
apologize.
truck already.
Yeah.
But we're in the winter season, so by the
Right.
time the order goes in, it's 120 days out.
Oh,
And then
okay.
we have to, go out to bid during that time and get the body builder. He has to order a plow, he has to, fabricate the body, and then do the install on the vehicle. And that
Okay.
really takes about so turnaround time is about 6 months.
Okay.
Is there a motion to approve the bid waiver for the Peterbilt Model 348 cab and chassis as described in Warren's memorandum?
Second.
Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Warren.
Thank you.
Okay, animal control, Tom?
The next item is a update on the water issue at Animal Control Facility. We had another well dug in a different location on the property, and the original well, as you recall, the result was that it was safe for drinking, was something that the staff didn't feel was appropriate for the animals. So we dug another well and dug it deeper in a different location on the property. And that well came back as not safe for drinking purposes. So the quality of the water was actually worse than the original well. So in the chloride, hardness, and a couple other items. So we are looking into further getting more detailed explanation, instead of just a high-level test, which is what this was, a little more detailed information on exactly what is going on with the water, what the result could be, and what, if any, solutions are there for either the well depth and or other sort of solutions short of the $135,000 solution of hooking up, or $138,000 solution of hooking up to the city water supply, which is down the street.
What do we have for timing on all this?
We hope to have it for your next meeting.
So I'm assuming when you say other options, such as a water filtration system.
Whether there's an improved situation for that,
Tank.
whether it's a tank, whether it's perhaps there's something in the geology or in the landscape which is causing the water to be a certain quality in a certain location. I mean, there's a lot of some
Does
research.
everyone, do the other folks have problems?
That's part of
with water?
that's part of the further analysis, is to find out what's going on in properties
What
around
other
and
wells are doing.
right, how other water quality tests are. So we hope to have that for your next meeting.
Any other questions?
Is there anything being done, I'm sorry, is there anything being done currently, if the water is not potable for the animals or
That's not the,
it's potable, but our animal control officers or people don't feel it's proper to be using for the
Right,
animals, is that right?
correct. That's
So is there anything being done now, for example, is there a 100-gallon tank of?
there's certainly still being provided with bottled, when I say bottled water, I mean little bottles, they're
Gotcha.
Big
bigger.
bucks.
So they're
Yeah,
getting.
because
Yeah.
obviously there's a difference of what you're using
Big
to
one.
water your plants with and what you need for the
We use
animals.
state contract pricing, and we get good pricing on it, but.
Good, so it is being
So
addressed.
stay tuned for next month. Okay, the next item is the steep grant application, and this is, the steep grant application is the next item. And this is, we're seeking $500,000 to put towards the old firehouse renovation. You have a good deal of information in the packet. That is the application that goes to the state. And is there a motion to authorize the first selectman to file this application?
So moved.
So second. Any questions about this?
Just applaud you for coming up with this. Tony, I'm sure you've done it before, but it was I read the whole thing.
I tried to
It was
provide
very
background,
good.
there's a lot of
It was-
background in the application.
The letters that were included as
Those
well,
are in here.
it was really detailed. You did a really good job.
So just a couple of comments, the current funding for it is, together roughly $200,000, and, the grant's for $500,000. So, at some point, you have to decide.
Oh, I'm thinking back to when Roland was here.
Right, their budget was roughly 1.2.
1.2,
so.
and at that time, I was told, it hasn't actually been approved,
Correct,
right?
that's correct.
So my question therefore is, if we go ahead and get this steep grant for 500,000, is there a limitation on the use? Suppose we decide, for whatever reason, we're not gonna proceed with that, what happens?
You would have to use the $500,000 for the purposes defined in the grant, but just the 500,000. You're not
Right,
locking
just that
into
steep grant.
1.2.
But is it very specific that you have to use it for that firehouse, or is it
No, it's specific to the location of the old firehouse, but not specific to exactly what you do.
what you do with it?
Whether it's insulation or flooring or roofing
But it's
or.
specific there, so we'd have to improve that building for whatever reason we want.
It's,
For that site.
most of the improvements that are in the application are more, building related, not function related improvements.
Okay. Well, that's
So
good.
whatever you have in the
Right.
building, you're gonna need.
So it gives us some flexibility.
So you have flexibility on what you put there. right?
Tony, is there a time certain that you'd have to use the grant money by?
There will be a contract that the state will provide, and they will ask us and work with us to provide them with a date that we think we will need for the contract expiration. So we'll have some flexibility on what date we use, but we will have to provide a date.
Any questions? All right, the motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Town council's report, Jerry.
Just very briefly to report on two matters. The first one is the Merritt Avenue Bridge. And the Merritt Avenue Bridge, as you all know, is under construction to replace the old bridge. They've been working on it for quite a while, and the job was supposed to be completed by November 24th, 2014 by contract. It looks like, and the contractor has indicated that they will not be able to complete it for reasons dealing with untimely delivery of materials, i.e. the steel that was supposed to go into, that is going into the bridge. They now have the steel, and the steel is pretty much in place, but because of the delay, the delay in delivery, they say they can't complete it. We disagree, the state of Connecticut disagrees, and I think the federal government, who's providing some money, disagrees, and we feel that they should be held to the November 24th completion date. In our agreement with the contractor, there's a $1,100 per day liquidated damages clause if they do not complete on time. Well, Tony has been meeting with them on a regular basis, I think weekly or once every 2 weeks, and we've made it clear that the delay is unacceptable, and we are going to assert, if it's not completed by November 24th, and it's not going to be completed, we're going to assert the liquidated damages clause and have the contractor be responsible to the town for $1,100 a day. We sent the contractor a letter today. We sent copies to the state of Connecticut. The state of Connecticut knows about it. We sent copies to the contractor. So we're hoping that there's a meeting going to take place tomorrow. We're hoping that there will be some progress. Tony's going to meet with them. But it looks like they're not going to be able to, they are not going to be completing it by November 24th. There's some other alternatives that we're talking about, which will be going into greater details tomorrow. And I'll report to you next month when we have some final a decision.
So your opinion is, per the contract, they don't have an excusable delay per the
It's
contract?
our opinion, together with the state of Connecticut, that they don't have an
That's
excuse,
so-
yes. Now, we're trying to work with them because the goal is to get the thing, project completed.
Well, we have some leverage too to work with.
We have a little bit of leverage, yes.
And, you know, there was a time when we were aware of a delay, and there was some explanation for the delay, but then, if you recall, we extended the time they could work. They were supposed to have,
Under the pylons or something.
right, but we gave them longer work days, and they, as I understood it, were committed to bringing in double or triple crews, and that never happened. They did not take advantage of the benefits that we gave them to complete it.
So my question would be, even though it's a great thing that we have that in there, and hopefully that'll give us some leverage, I guess my question for the residents is, and of course, they were hoping it wasn't gonna be a second winter, do you feel this delay does jeopardize even getting it done before we really kick into winter, or are they still projecting, well, they need 10 more days, or do you
We'll
think
find
they're
out
thinking
a lot more
months?
tomorrow. But it all depends on their action plan moving forward.
Okay, because I think I remember last year when Warren was talking to us saying that basically if they didn't reach a certain point, the winter's lost.
Right, and the asphalt plant's closed down, so they can't do the paving.
That's right.
So that's the problem, yeah. There is an issue there, and Tony has been working to try and have some kind of remedy that will hopefully keep it open during the winter, but that's not guaranteed at this point. So that's number one. Any other questions on that? No? I just want to inform the board that we received notice that a lawsuit was filed by our animal control officer against former officer Brian McCarthy. He used to work for the town, now he's working for the Stratford Police Department, and a young woman who worked at the animal shelter.
Right.
At the time when there was an arrest warrant that was issued against the animal control officer. The allegations in the complaint are that the information provided to the police department by way of affidavits were untrue. So she's suing for damages. The town was not named as a defendant. We were not sued. The only two people that were sued were the animal control officer and the woman who worked at the shelter at the time. We turned the complaint over to the town's insurance company. They have retained an attorney. He's working on it. He's going to meet with the two defendants and also meet with the police department to go over and get the facts. And that's all the information I have. The case is not even returnable to court yet, but I wanted to make sure the board knew that that is out there.
We don't know yet whether we have a contractual obligation to defend these two?
Well, the insurance company makes that decision, and they made a decision that they are defending.
But we're covered, but do we have a deductible or anything on that? Is there any financial impact to the town?
I don't know if there is a deductible. I don't know what the policy is. But it appears that the only financial impact will be the deductible, if there is a deductible. But we don't know.
Okay.
Any other questions for Jerry? Thank you.
Thank you.
And these are both ex-employees now, right?
Both ex-employers, yes.
Is there some troubling allegations in that complaint?
Reminds me of the first time I read a complaint when I was a young lawyer, and I went to the partner and I said, I can't believe what our client did.
Yeah,
He said, remember, that's just the complaint. That's what they're saying.
Right, true.
So, I'm not saying that in this case, I'm not opining, but I know that, reading those things. Next, we have Town Clerk's report. Is there a motion to
So
accept?
moved.
Thank you. Second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We have the minutes of October 8th, 2014. Is there a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Second?
No changes?
I'll second the motion. Any
Okay.
questions?
Yeah.
Beth?
Little minor typos, I mean, you should have done. Nothing that I need to even bring up.
Anything else? All those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Beth.
Yep.
Item number 12, Roger Harrison has submitted his resignation from the Conservation Commission. We thank him very much for his service on the commission. And,
We usually send a letter
yeah,
about Should we send a letter to him?
Yes.
We usually do that, yeah.
I just noticed, it was in the letter, is that effective now?
Yes, I
Yeah.
believe so, yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
thought I saw something about 6:30 or something.
I don't think so.
Is he a member of other boards, Roger?
Country club.
I think-
Golf course.
I think he's still in the country club. Yeah. Next item, if there's no,
May I ask who moved that and who seconded the resignation?
I'm
oh,
not
we're
sure
not, we didn't, we didn't,
Notice
there
purposes.
wasn't, we just
Would you
we
like-
That's right,
accepted
we're
it and
not
we're
doing
thanking
that
him.
anymore. I'm
Right,
sorry.
right. If there's no objection, I'd like to add an item here. This is with respect to our investment committee, which is meeting tomorrow.
Next
right?
week.
Oh, next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday. Lawrence Grothier has been our Board of Selectmen representative to the investment committee, and because of work and time pressure, has asked to be relieved of that, and I think he deserves to be, to get that time back.
You don't want to force him?
And I would like to accept that resignation and move that we designate Beth Heller to take his place. So first, is there any objection to adding that to the agenda?
No.
Okay, if none, I will move the designation of Beth Heller as our investment committee representative. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Thursday,
Aye.
I don't think I can make it
Yeah.
already, but,
You can vote. Thank you. Thank you very much.
okay, you're welcome.
Betsy, reval update. We're getting there, Betsy.
A late night.
Listen, I must have fallen asleep. Hi. You guys have stamina.
Big red map, right?
Huh?
Big red map.
Big red map. Look, it's almost
Yep.
filled.
What's that white doing there?
Well, I was hoping to be done by this time, but we had a little setback in our office, and you know what? That's why we plan and adjust. And we're good. We're still definitely on track, and that's why we don't put out any dates and any information until we know where we are and when we're totally done. So I've spoken to people that are helping us towards the end, and we're probably another 2 weeks back. We were hoping to get notices out the end of November. We're probably not looking till the second week of December. Having informal hearings probably the first couple weeks of January, which is fine, letting everybody get through all their holidays, and then, and that's okay. And we're still right on track, and there's still time after the informal hearings to pick up and do what we need to do. So that's why it's good to be ahead of schedule, so that if things come up, then we can adjust. So we're good with that. I hesitate to give you any numbers. I've been crunching numbers a lot, doing a real lot of analysis and stuff. The values will go down in most instances. There are some areas where they'll stay stable or go up, but most instances they will go down. I'm not going to give you any numbers because I know everybody will hold me to that and hang me on that right now, but just other than that, we're right on track for everything else, and,
Is that typically, that's just homes you haven't, or places you haven't gotten to yet? Or
yeah,
are people who
it's
put
just
you
last
off?
minute, it's all last minute stuff.
So it's
that we
not
have to do.
necessarily people who've said no or put you off, and it's just kind of what's left percentage-wise?
It's
not.
basically what's left.
Oh, great.
And that should be done within the next couple weeks.
Great.
And, barring one way or another, there'll either be an exterior, or there'll be a completion, and then that's why we also will have all the other time, within the next 6 weeks to be able to do any of those inspections that people will call back on too, so.
Betsy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is the first selectman's report. And I'm going to go just start with what otherwise would have been the last item, because it was the most recent thing that I did. And it was yesterday, I had the opportunity to visit Brendan Purcell's Eagle Scout project. And Brendan, do you want to come up here and? I know you're not here in that capacity, but you all may recall that we approved this project back in May, and I had the opportunity to see it. It's a bridge improvement on the Gregory Roberts Memorial Trail, which is off Orchard Road, and it really is a incredibly impressive work, and I encourage everyone to take a look at it. Do you want to talk a little bit about it, Brendan, just to remind people what it was and what you did?
That's okay. So basically there's a connector trail that connects to the Blue Trail from the end of my road, and it's really swampy back there. The only people that walk it are probably my parents, myself, and maybe a couple of the neighbors. Nobody could really get back there because it's so messy most of the year. So I decided to build a bridge across that would hopefully encourage more people to go out there, because I think it's great for the community to go out on the trails. I love it so much. I run there with the track team, and we have a great time back there. So I thought it would be great for everybody else to have a chance. And I guess I'm sort of feeling bad now because I've been told that I've set the standard for how good the bridges are going to have to be from now on. So we'll see how everybody else's comes out. Yeah. But there's definitely more work that has to be done back there, which is why I'm trying to encourage other people in my troop and other troops to do more work back there, so we can get more people out, because I think it's a great part of the town.
Terrific job. And Dan Roberts, who's the brother of Gregory Roberts, in whose name the trail it was dedicated, sent a letter to Brendan. I won't read the whole thing, but he says, "The bridge and walkway that you designed and constructed with the aid and assistance of your fellow Boy Scouts and members of the Amity High School cross-country team is truly outstanding," which it really is. And he says, "On behalf of my family, please extend our sincere gratitude to the Woodbridge Board of Selectmen, the Inland Wetlands Commission, and the Woodbridge Land Trust for allowing you to undertake this ambitious project, which will help to preserve the beauty of this trail along with the memory of my dear brother Greg." So it's a great tribute to you. You picked a wonderful project and you did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Do you all have to stay till the very end anyway? I thought maybe you could go home after this. I don't know who that guy is over there. Okay, so back to the report. I do want to recognize the Woodbridge Volunteer Fire Department. There was a very serious house fire on October 19th, and they dealt with it with their usual professionalism, both in handling the fire and their sensitivity to the family. I want to thank them very much for that. I'm going to mention some upcoming events. Betsy may reiterate them as well for people here and anyone watching. We have a very exciting collaboration with Long Wharf Theater. Our library and Long Wharf Theater have worked together, and there are 3 events. The first is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock in the Center Gym. It's in the Center Gym because so many people have subscribed to come to the event. It will be a little preview of a Steve Martin play that's opening at Long Wharf. I've read it. I find it very entertaining and interesting. And the artistic director will be there to speak about the play. I think it will be very, very interesting. And then on December 11th will be Woodbridge Night at the production of the play. It's called At the Lapin Agile, which is a cafe where in this play Picasso and Einstein meet and chat. So it's got very interesting themes to this play. So December 11th is Woodbridge Night. There'll be a reception for Woodbridge residents at Long Wharf Theater and a discount for tickets that night. If you go to our website or the library website, you can see how to get the tickets. And in addition, on December 3rd, there'll be a talk about the play at the library in case you want even more. The next is the solar workshop. We had our terrific ad hoc committee helped us get to the place where we're advancing with solar opportunities, and that's on November 18th at 6:30. Betsy, I think it's still at the library, or is that one moved also? It's moved also. Also, we have so many subscribers, that's also at the Center Gym. And I want to thank Betsy very much for helping to organize both of these events. It's been a lot of work and coordination. You did a great job. Also, we just learned today that we have a date for the DOT update on the project related to the traffic on Litchfield Turnpike near exit 59. We've been working very hard to have DOT come up with a plan that is less than the 30-year plan they originally proposed for us. So this meeting will be on December 16th at 5:30, and Betsy will talk, at 7. At 7, thank you. December 16th at 7 o'clock, and it's at a school in New Haven, and Betsy will go over the details. Activities since the last meeting, as you may recall, the October 11th weekend was one of many significant activities in town. We had the road race. It was pouring rain, but we had many hardy souls completed the road race. And I want to mention the fastest time for a male Woodbridge resident was Aaron Barkin, and the female Woodbridge resident was Miriam Chang, so we congratulate them on their time. Now, the other two Saturday events were rained out for the day, but were held the next day. One was the Scarecrow Festival that the businesses down in the business district held, that had been subject of quite a bit of planning. I don't think they had the turnout they would have gotten on the 11th, but they're preparing already for next year to continue that. And Massaro Family Fun Day was also postponed from Saturday to Sunday and had a very good turnout. During this month, I met with Sydney Perry, who's the executive director over at the JCC, to talk about just our being neighbors and working together. I also attended the ceremonial cutting of pizza at Grimaldi's when Grimaldi's opened. I hope you've all stopped by to try it. Rather than a ribbon cutting, we had a pizza cutting. I also toured Air Handling, which is Jamie Scott's business down on Lunar Drive, a very impressive small manufacturing business that we have here in town. I've attended several meetings about this Long Wharf Library working together to come up with the program. A very dear friend of mine, Linda Calarco, is on the Long Wharf Board of Trustees, and she became aware that Long Wharf had programs with libraries in New Haven and said, well, why not do this in Woodbridge? So we've had a terrific time working together to make this happen. I met with Frank DeLeo and Stephanie Charleglio regarding the West River project. We're working to supplement the funds because the costs came in higher than had originally been anticipated. I've been talking to Susan Antonazzi, who's a co-president of the Garden Club of Woodbridge. They have talking about different ideas for the town. As Dr. Stella mentioned, I was at the Halloween Hoot at Beecher Road School, another incredibly successful Beecher Road event. I taped a program called Meet the Leaders, which is Cablevision, talks to different first selectmen.
I saw
You saw it. You really had insomnia if you were watching that.
I saw it.
And the DOT meeting that's scheduled now for December was the result of several meetings with DOT. We've been working very closely with the city of New Haven to raise the profile of the project, because when we work together with other communities, it really helps get the attention of the state officials, and so we've been doing that. I also met with Mayor Harp and Catherine Smith, who is the Commissioner of DECD, the Department of Economic and Community Development, to talk about ideas that Commissioner Smith might have about economic development in the corridor from the Woodbridge Business District into New Haven. And she had somebody call just today. Her office followed up. I haven't reached this person back yet. The meetings have already been referred to with Adam, Tony, and Bill Dest, the turf consultant, who's going to be bringing us the report. Betsy and I went to the Bethany Middle School, where they have a student public service committee, which they hadn't really had before, and Betsy was a great help to them. They were out on Election Day to raise money for the Eldridge family, whose son was so tragically injured in New York City. I've been to one meeting with the contractors regarding the Merritt Avenue Bridge construction to help us decide what route to take because of the delays. The Economic Development Commission met on October 30th. Karen Brown talked about the Scarecrow Festival and planning for next year. The Ambassador Program is something they've been talking about for quite a while, and it had sort of grown into something that really was not manageable for a commission of their size and without staff. So they've whittled it down to something that I think is manageable and will result in outreach to members of the business community, which I think is terrific. They also have started planning for their business breakfast, which they do every year and is very well attended. Also, Edge of the Woods has opened a branch at the JCC, and they reported to the Economic Development Commission. I believe the commission is going to have reports from new or expanding businesses every month, which is great to highlight. I will tell you all that they have takeout foods available, and they're open very long hours, so if you're coming home from work late, it's a place to get takeout.
Or a babka.
Or a babka, exactly. Let's see, Truck or Treat, as Dr. Stella mentioned, he and I were serving hamburgers and hot dogs. We were a very efficient team at Truck or Treat. The estimates are that there were between 2,000 and 2,500 people who attended the event, and it was very, very good-spirited. People had a great time. Dominic Thomas, who is a Woodbridge resident, received the Valley Chamber of Commerce Platinum Award for his 30 years of volunteer and humanitarian service. Bill could probably tell us what an impressive award that is, and we sent a proclamation on behalf of the town to that event. Yesterday, I was at the Veterans Day ceremony at Beecher Road School and also the event on the town green, and they were both very well attended and very well planned and moving events. With respect to our event on the town green, I want to thank Barry Joseph, who's taken over the leadership from Joe Hellauer, who did such a great job for so many years. Jerry, thank you for helping to coordinate and plan and do the agenda. And Susan Antonazzi, who sang, she was terrific, and all the others who helped and participated. And that's it. That's my report. Excuse me. Betsy?
Sure, so I just want to mention a little more in detail some of the events that Ellen talked about. So the solar event coming up on November 18th, that's next Tuesday. It is at the Center Gym, and we're holding it there because the library room only holds 50, and we have 73 RSVPs, so we're expecting a really large crowd. The Ad Hoc Energy Task Force that put this event together is also working on other smaller workshops on weatherization topics like insulation that they'll be holding over the winter. And then again in April, there will be another large solar workshop for anyone who could not make it to this November workshop. So we'll be putting out more information about that as it becomes available. The library Long Wharf event is also sounding like it's going to be really exciting. The event tomorrow night will also include actors from the play. They'll be performing a scene, and then there will be a discussion about the scene and the play as a whole. The play, if you're interested, is available for checkout at the library. They have copies at the circulation desk. And the information about Woodbridge Night with the 25% discount is available on the town website if you're interested. The Exit 59 meeting on December 16th is at Morrow Sheridan School. That's on Fountain Street. I don't know the address off the top of my head, but it was just confirmed this afternoon, so tomorrow or in the next couple of days, that information will be on the town's website. And as we get closer to the date, it'll also be on our Facebook page and our e-newsletter.
Betsy, one question. Sure. Just to follow up with the large crowd, and I haven't signed up yet, and I was hoping to come, but will that November 18th solar evening be televised? Is that something we can get on Access TV? It's going to be a large crowd.
Give me the date and we'll figure it out.
Okay, thank you.
You asked the wrong person.
It was indirect, but it tried to duck pool.
Thanks, Betsy.
Sure.
Okay, liaison reports. Joe?
No.
Tony?
Okay. Well, Coopop did not meet last month. They are scheduled to meet December 2nd. They still have a vacancy on that commission. Conservation last met on the 23rd. Their next meeting is November 20th. On the 23rd, they had a discussion, or they opened the discussion about the Enoch Drive / Round Hill Road property that was brought up last month by Jerry. They started the discussion. They want to do some research on the property as far as access to the trail, for those of you who remember. So they really just at this point are in the preliminary stages. They were hoping by next month to have all gone and seen the property individually and to get a better access of some of the town maps and whatnot to make sure that there is access to that trail. Other than that, they did a little word changing to their plan of the conservation and development. Basically talking about the Country Club of Woodbridge and just how they designated what timeline that should be in. The new member, Frank DeLeo, was sworn in, and he's made 2 meetings already. And of course, with Roger's resignation, they will need a new member eventually for that. The only thing other to mention about conservation is a few of them, and I participated with Mike Walter to help with some of the trail work. He, a couple times a year, tries to get some people to help him clean up the trails, trim, push back. We worked on the blue trail over above the swampy areas. And actually, Mike held 2 consecutive Saturdays, but the first one was Make a Difference Day. And a few of the conservation members, a few other town members went out. We cut back brush, and it does make a huge difference. And clearly, he is a little short on equipment. It's a little hard to do. Some of it needs more of a solid weed whacker that's got a blade on it, or a trimmer. And I do know, because I'm going to deliver a note to Tony Genovese, that he is wondering if it's possible to either purchase something or borrow something from Adam Parsons. So that's the future. But if you get a chance, he tries to hold them a few times a year. It's kind of fun. You go out, you trim up the trails. It definitely makes a difference. Last commission is Recreation. They last met on the 27th. Their next scheduled meeting is actually December 1st because of the way the holiday falls. They don't have one in November. Adam came and basically told them what you heard tonight, so I'm going to skip past that. Betsy came, and there was a long discussion. Betsy came to help go over the youth protection policy. Recreation went through it very methodically, very thoroughly, basically page by page, line by line, and there are some things they're looking to change wording-wise or whatnot. It's still in the discussion phase for them. They wanted to take one more look at it, one more month, and I think they'll be in touch with Betsy and going forward with that. They made a sizable donation to the Pease Playground. Colleen and Klima came, and they are buying or fulfilling the bench that the Beecher Road School System was trying to donate, and they were short a sizable number, and Recreation has agreed to do that for the Pease Road. WAC also came and applied for a cost increase to be waived and received it. And the last thing I will say that was very important to them, they wanted me to pass on, was they're still waiting to know, or whenever you find out more about the server, so that they currently can't do registration or take payments online. And we did give them that in the budget. Unfortunately, our server has had an issue, and so they have yet to be able to utilize that system, and they're very much looking forward to, so they think they'll increase their registrations and their actual, how much they take in, just because they'll be able to do it quickly online and save a lot of time and effort. So just bringing that up to you. That's it.
Thank you, Tony.
I'm awake. I attended the October 20th Fire Commission meeting. They reviewed and voted to accept the capital budget, which we will hear about soon in December. They are including a proposal for the storage shed, upgrades to the main radio system, and the ladder truck. And the operating budget currently is pretty much in line with expenses. They have to watch vehicle repairs and maintenance. That's the only one that might have some issues. There's been the chief reported there's been a few multiple vehicle crashes on the Merritt Parkway, and there was a serious car versus telephone pole accident at Amity and Burnt Swamp. They've been very, very busy with that. And then, as Ellen reported, there was that structure fire on October 19th. They saved persons and pets, and the house was pretty much destroyed, I guess. And Joe Capucci reported that a preliminary case causes careless cooking. We had mutual aid from Beacon Falls, Bethany, Seymour, and Orange. It was quite a day. The chief also stated that the Lucas device has been used several times. That and it has really been a great addition to the emergency response. They've saved some lives. It's great. 4 firefighters are going to be attending the national conference in Indianapolis next April. Joe Capucci's completing fire prevention training with about 800 kids. Natural gas connection is due sometime at the end of October, but it happened?
No, not yet.
Okay, I see all the trucks outside. Is that what that's for?
Yes.
Okay.
We're this close.
All right.
Trucks are good.
Good. Okay. I also went to the Halloween truck retreat. It was a lot of fun. It was great. Their next meeting is November 17th, which is Monday. Just an update on the Historical Book Committee. They met on Wednesday, we met on October 22nd. Things are coming along well. Bettina was there for a little while. And we're beginning to proofread pages of homes that are almost complete. We only have 13 more homes out of over 200 to photograph, so we're really moving along. We are going to be taking pre-orders, yay, so yay, money will be coming in. And we hope the book will be ready for distribution at the end of January. Okay, I went to Town Plan and Zoning last Monday. They held a public hearing and work session for an application for a residence office at 33 Grouse Lane, which was approved. They postponed the Thrive Chiropractic and Wellness petition again. They had a lengthy work session on potential development of the property at 240 Amity Road. That's that old, what is it? It's a car dealership or something, yeah. Talked about that in great length. They also spent a great deal of time prioritizing the action agenda items for the Town Plan of Conservation Development with M&M, not the candy. And the commission are going to, I think, meet again this coming Monday, but I won't be able to be there because I got to go to fire. And I just had one quick thought. Could we put the UI sign up, if it's not up there, the thing that they mentioned, could we put that up on the website? You know, the sign up where we can...
Will you check
Put a link
off
to
the
it.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. The
I
one we
was
get
just
the alerts
thinking.
if the power's out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good thing.
because residents could, you know, because I sort of heard it, that you how to do it, but I think it'd be good if people who weren't watching TV tonight
Yep.
might want to know. Okay, and I'm done.
Thank you, Beth.
Sorry. I tried to hurry through. It's so late.
So to follow up on Beth's point about the,
Lucas, yeah.
Lucas, I attended the police commission meeting, and they're gonna be giving a citizens award because evidently a couple of citizens kept somebody alive with the old way until that showed up, so they spent some time talking about that. What is this called?
Lucas.
CPR, okay, thank you.
Oh, CPR is the old
CPR.
way.
There was, right.
Chest compressions.
They've started their capital budget process, obviously. There was a fair amount of talk about the progress on what can be done or should be done on the Landon Street speeding issue. No conclusions.
Land in?
Landon
Oh,
Street.
Land in. Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking Landon Street.
That's it.
Okay. Got it.
Well, it works to my advantage to have each superintendent here.
Right.
But I will supplement what Superintendent Dumais presented with a word about what happened at the Amity Board of Education just night before last. They led off their meeting with recognition of National Merit Scholars, and it was an extraordinary event just because of the numbers. Something close to 24 Amity High School students receiving recognition for their performance in that National Merit Scholar evaluation, and I think that really speaks to the quality of education that is provided K through 12 in this community. One other interesting note from Monday night, Dr. Britton, who is the Amity High School principal, was absent because he was at the White House receiving that plaque.
Oh, how cool is that?
So,
That's major cool.
so Amity High School is a blue ribbon school, and we have the plaque to prove it, I guess, right? I missed the October meeting of the Woodbridge Board of Education.
Because you were at the White House.
It
No.
is. I was chasing the president. Anyway, it is scheduled to meet again next Monday, the third Monday. And if maybe we could close the meeting with a point of personal privilege or a bit of indulgence. I wind up getting debriefed on the library commission meetings. One of my housemates attends, and it's sort of a critical time. The Woodbridge Library, of course, is an important part of the town, and it's a critical time in this transition period. Todd Fabian resigned, we all know, in September, and so the commission is working to replace the library director. The posting was extended. They wanted to increase the pool of applicants. I guess now they will begin review of those applications and provide recommendations. There's a subcommittee anyway. It will provide recommendations to the full commission for a new library director. In the meanwhile, there is an interim director who is working on an annual report and the FY16 budget, so operations are proceeding without interruption. And that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Lawrence. Just nothing else, there a motion to adjourn? Second. Those in favor? Everyone. Thank you, everyone.